Hi everyone, happy new month. We are in the month of August and the year is almost coming to an end. So today I'm going to bring you my very first tutorial for the month, and that is of the top that you've just seen at the beginning of the video. It's made of this beautiful flower stitch that I'll be showing you how to make in this video, and the stitch is attached to bra cups to make this beautiful bralette. Perfect for summer. And this is one of the many bralettes that I have on my channel. You can check out a full playlist of my crochet bralettes that you can try out. So for the materials, I used Alize Cotton Gold in this beautiful pink shade, and I used approximately 1 ball for the whole project. And if you're a larger size, maybe you can have 2 balls to be on a safer side. But each ball of this is 330 meters or 361 yards. And that should be enough for your project. And then I also used 2 hooks. That is a 3mm and a 4mm crochet hook. As you can see here, this is the 4 and then this is the 3mm. The 3mm is going to work on the bra cups, and then we shall switch to a 4mm for the bottom part because we want the floral less crochet stitch to be kind of loose. And then you also need a measuring tape to take your ribcage circumference because we shall need that measurement. And then you also need a darning needle. So let's get started. I'm going to start off with the bra cups, and then later on we shall learn how to make the bottom band of the bralette, which is made of the floral stitch, and then we shall put everything together to create this beautiful bralette. So if you would like the written pattern, it's already available on all my online shops, and you can grab a copy in the description box below or on the screen. So we are going to start off with our 3mm crochet hook, and we are going to first create the bra cups. So for the bra cups, we're going to make the body and then also make this beautiful mesh edging with a picot trim on the edges of the bra cup. So you're going to start off with a slip knot. And then you're going to make a chain. For me, I'm going to make a chain of 16, but I'll be recommending a number of chains to consider for the different sizes. This chain should be running from the center of your breast all the way to the base of your breast. That is for reference purposes for the people who are making it for themselves and you want to take accurate measurements. 13, 14, 15, and 16. So, and I'm demonstrating for a size medium. So you're going to block off this last chain, this one, the last chain that you did, and then you're going to make 3 more chains, just like that. And then you're going to go into the 4th chain from the hook. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's a double crochet. Yarn over, go into the next chain, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So you're going to continue to double crochet once in each and every chain until the second last chain. One double crochet in each and every chain until the second last chain. All right, so we're coming to the second last, so I'm going to place a double crochet there, and then in the very last chain I'm going to place a total of 5 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And those 5 double crochets are going to kind of bring you to the opposite side of the foundation chain. So we're going to start working on the opposite side of the foundation chain. So you're going to turn your work and start making 1 double crochet in each and every chain on the opposite side. So as I work the double crochet stitches, I'm also working around this tail so that I weave it in as I go. Okay. Continue to double crochet once in each and every chain of the foundation chain until the end of the row. So you see what we have, and I'm weaving in this tail as I go. So this is how clean the back side of my bra cup looks like. All right, so we're coming to the end of row 1 because our rows are coming all the way in a U shape, starting from here all the way to this side. So don't forget to place a double crochet into this last chain 3. And just like that, row 1 is finished and it's worked in a U shape. So what we are going to do is to get a stitch marker. You can use a thread or whatever you have to mark the stitch. Remember the 5 double crochets that we placed? You're going to mark the third one, which is the exact middle stitch of the 5 double crochets that we placed here in the last chain before turning to work on the opposite side of the starting chain. So this marks the end of row 1, and if you have any excess yarn lying around, then you're going to just cut it off because we're already done weaving it in. And then you can pull on your work like this and you'll have something as neat as you can see here. So we're going on to row 2. For row 2, you're going to start off with a chain of 3 and then turn your work. This chain of 3 counts as a double crochet. And then go into the next stitch. Don't go into the first stitch because the first stitch already has this double crochet here. So you're going to go into the next stitch with a double crochet and then continue to double crochet once in each and every stitch until you get to the stitch before the stitch marker that you just placed at the top of the bra cup. All right, so in this stitch before the stitch marker, you're going to place 1 double crochet there. And then in the stitch with the stitch marker, you're going to remove it. And into that stitch, you're going to go in there with a total of 5 double crochets. And then you're going to get your stitch marker and mark the third stitch of the 5 double crochets that you just placed, because that will be the increase point of the next row. And then from here, you're going to go all the way down, placing 1 double crochet in each and every stitch until the end of the row. So if you see your work starting to curl up or starting to create this bump, don't try to straighten it out. That's what it's supposed to look like. That's how it's going to create room for your breast to sit into this space that is being created by the backup. So just leave it as it is. So we're coming to the end of the row, and don't forget to go into the top of the chain 3 on the edge of the previous row, because that counts as a stitch as well. Make sure you go in there with a double crochet, and this marks the end of row 2. So we're going to repeat row 2 again and again until we have our desired coverage. I'll also be recommending a number of rows for the different sizes, but basically we're going to repeat row 2. You make a chain of 3, which counts as a stitch. Then you turn your work. Then you don't go into the very first stitch. I can't emphasize this enough, because if you go into the first stitch, that means you're going to be increasing on the edge of your backup. So you directly go into the next stitch that's not attached to the chain 3, and then continue to repeat row 2 again and again. And I'll be back when I have my desired number of rows, and also recommend a number of rows for the different sizes. Alright guys, I did a total of 8 rows, and I'll be recommending a number of rows for the different sizes. This is my size medium, and I did a total of 8 rows. Now we're going to go ahead and create this beautiful edging on the edges of the bra cups. And to do this, you're going to make a chain. Once you get your desired number of rows or your full coverage, you're going to try on your piece and make sure it's not fully covering your breast, because we are also going to create an edging. So after your number of rows, you're going to make a chain of 4, which counts as a double crochet, chain 1, turn your work, skip over the next stitch, and then double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, skip 1 stitch, double crochet in the next. So you're going to repeat this all the way up until you get towards the top of your bra cup. So this is going to create a mesh pattern along the edge of the bra cup. Alright guys, now we're almost in the middle stitch. The middle stitch of this piece is 1, 2, 3, is this one. Alright, so this is the middle stitch, and we're still creating the mesh pattern. I'm going to make a chain of 1 and skip over the next stitch and into the middle stitch with the stitch marker. I'm going to place 1 double crochet, and then I'm going to make a chain of 2 and 1 more double crochet into the same exact stitch, and then I'll mirror exactly what I have on this side onto this side. So make a chain of 1 skip over the next stitch and double crochet into the next. And you're going to do this on the opposite side as well, creating the mesh pattern before we go onto the picot stitch. All right, so we're coming to the end of the row, and you're going to make a chain of 1, skip over the second last stitch, and on top of the chain 3 you're going to place a double crochet, and that marks the end of the mesh row. Now we're going to go onto the picot stitch, and to do that you're going to make a chain of 1, turn your work, and then in the very first chain 1 space you're going to place 1 single crochet, chain 3, go into the 2 front loops of the single crochet and make a slip stitch, and then single crochet into the same exact space. So let's do that again. Into the next chain 1 space, 1 single crochet, chain 3, slip stitch into the 2 loops at the front of the single crochet below, and then single crochet into the same exact space. So you're going to do this all the way until the top of the bra cup. So single crochet, chain 3, slip stitch into the 2 front loops of the single crochet, and then single crochet again into the same space. Alright guys, this is what we have, and I'm going to consider the wrong side of my last row to be the right side of my piece, because this is where the picot stitch pops. So this will be the right side of my piece. So once you get to the chain 2 space of the V-stitch that we placed at the top of the bra cup, you're going to go in there with 2 single crochets, and then 3 single crochets, just to make it all the way to the opposite side, and then into the next chain 1 space you just continue doing the same exact thing that we've been doing on the opposite side. So single, chain 3, slip stitch, single into the same space. So this is what this part will look like. So go all the way down and finish up your row, and I'll meet you back at the end of the picot stitch row. Alright guys, we've come to the end of the row, And I'm going to just make a chain of 1 and cut my yarn. That marks the end of my breakup. You're going to repeat this same exact process in order to get a second breakup identical to the first one. So after you make both your breakups, we're now going to go ahead and learn how to make the floral stitch that's going to be at the base of the breakups. Alright, so when it comes to the bottom band, you're going to make a chain that can run around your rib cage minus around 4 to 5 inches. So after making my piece, I noticed that this stitch shrinks, so I would recommend making a chain that runs around your rib cage. Your chain should be a multiple of 8 plus 5. So for me, my multiple of 8 is 96 plus 5 chains, which brings me to a total of 101 chains. So if you want a back opening, then you're going to consider reducing by a few inches. But if you don't want that opening at the back, then consider the ribcage circumference. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is how to ensure that your chain is a multiple of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so just make a chain that's a multiple of 8 plus 5. All right, so I have my 101 chains, and if I'm to take a measurement without stretching, that measurement is 21 inches without stretching, and the ribcage circumference that I am considering is 25 inches. So 25 minus the 4 inches that we talked about, that brings me to 21 inches. So I have 101 chains, and now we're going to start working our stitch pattern. You're going to go into the 5th chain from the hook. So counting from this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the 5th, you're going to hold here, and then you're going to yarn over twice to prepare for a treble crochet. Insert your hook into the 5th chain from the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we are not going to finish it because we are going to do 2 treble crochets together. So yarn over twice, and then go into the same exact chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So you'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all. What we've just done right there is 2 treble crochets together. So you're going to make a chain of 1, skip over 7 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And into the 8th, which is this one, you're going to yarn over twice, and you're going to do 2 treble crochets together into this chain, the 8th chain. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over twice, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So you'll have 3 loops left on your hook, yarn over, pull through all the 3 loops, and then you're going to make a chain of 4 and go into the same exact chain with a slip stitch. So you just insert your hook and pull through all. So this is what you'll have, and then you're going to make a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the same exact chain you're going to go in there with 2 treble crochets together. So yarn over twice, insert your hook into the chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So don't finish your treble crochet, yarn over twice, insert your hook into the same chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through all the 3 loops. So this is what we have. And now you're going to make a chain of 1 and repeat the same exact thing that we've done here. So after a chain of 1, skip over 7 chains, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and into the 8th you're going to make 2 trebles together, 2 treble crochets together, and by now you know how to do this. Chain 4, slip stitch into the same exact chain, chain 4, and 2 treble crochets together into the same exact chain. All right, so you can see exactly what we have here is the same exact thing that we have here. You're going to repeat this all the way across your chain until you have a total of 8 chains left on your row 1. Chain 1, don't forget to always chain 1. Then yarn over twice, skip over 7 chains. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and into the next chain, which should be the 8th, you make 2 treble crochets together, chain 4, slip stitch into the same exact chain, chain 4, 2 treble crochets together into the same chain. This is what your work will look like. So let me go all the way across and keep repeating this until I come towards the end of the row. All right, so we've come to the end of the row and I have a total of 8 chains left. You're going to skip over the 7, and after this cluster you're going to make a chain of 1 and skip over the 7 chains, and into the very last chain you're going to place 2 treble crochets together, just as we've been doing. So yarn over twice and place your 2 trebles together into the last chain, and then after this you're going to make a chain of 4 and slip stitch into the same exact last chain. So this is what you're going to have for row 1. Row 1 is going to look like this, and we're going on to row 2. For row 2, you're going to start off with a chain of 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7, and then you're going to turn your work. Now we're going to go into the chain 1. You see that chain 1 in between the 2 clusters here. So you're going to yarn over twice and into the chain 1, not the space, but into the actual chain 1, you're going to try to place your hook through and place your 2 trebles together. Yarn over twice, set your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then you're going to yarn over, pull through all the 3 loops. By now you know how to make the 2 treble crochets together stitch, and then you're going to make a chain of 4, and you're going to go into the same exact chain 1 and place a slip stitch, and then make a chain of 4 and 2 treble crochets together into the same exact chain 1. So all right, so this is what we have. You can see how the flower sort of shape comes together. So after this, you're going to make a chain of 1, And this time, instead of skipping the 7 chains, you're going to just skip over the 2 clusters here and go into the next chain 1 here in between these 2 clusters. So you're going to yarn over twice, go into the chain 1. So make sure as you work your pattern, when it comes to the chain 1, it shouldn't be very tight, because when it gets to the new row, it may be a little bit challenging to go into that stitch, the chain 1 stitch, to create the clusters. Then you're going to make a chain of 4 and slip stitch into the same chain 1, chain 4, and then 2 trebles together into the same chain 1. And that's basically it. For row 2, you're going to repeat this until you come towards the end of the row, and I'll show you how to wind up. You can see the flower shape starting to form. Let me get... I wanted to get the bigger sample to show you what you're going to end up with. You see those little flowers? It's like a flower pattern. So this is our aim. So we're going to go all the way along until towards the end of row 2, and I'll show you how to wind up. So chain 1, make sure it's not tight, and then go into the next chain 1 in between the next. So you skip over this one, and then into the chain 1 here. That's where you place your 2 treble crochets together. Chain 4, slip stitch into that chain 1, and then chain 4 and 2 trebles together. So go all the way along. I'll meet you towards the end of row 2. Alright guys, we've come to the end of row 2, and I've just placed my 2 clusters in the last chain 1 space. Not the space, actually, in the last chain 1, because we go in the actual chain 1, not the space. So you can see what we have. We've created our last flower shape, and this is what we have along our row. And from here, once you finish this one, you're going to yarn over 4 times. I don't know what this stitch is called. I heard it was called a triple treble, but yeah, you yarn over 4 times, and then you go into the chain where this cluster is coming from. Into that chain there, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Keep doing this until you pull through the last 2 loops. So this is what we have, and this balances what we have at the beginning. Remember the chain 7 that we have here? This is what the end of the row looks like. So we're going on to row 3, and we're going to start off with a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you're going to turn your work into the same exact stitch where the chain 4 is coming from. Here, you're going to place your 2 treble crochets together. Just like that. And then you're going to make a chain of 1, skip over the next 2 clusters, and in the chain 1 space, in the chain 1, sorry, here, inside the chain 1, you're going to place your 2 trebles together. Just as we've been doing for the previous row. So 2 trebles together, and then chain 4, slip stitch into the chain 1, chain 4, and then 2 trebles together into the same chain 1. Just like that. So see what we have. This is also creating another group of flowers, as you can see here. So row 2 created a flower here, but row 3 is creating a flower here. So it's kind of going to create an alternating kind of effect, that if you have a flower here, you also have a flower here, but also a flower here and here and here. So that's the effect that we are trying to create, and it looks really, really beautiful. So from here, after creating your 2 clusters into the chain 1, you're going to make a chain 1, and then skip over the next 2 clusters, and into the chain 1, you repeat the same exact process. 2 trebles together, chain 4, slip stitch into the chain 1, chain 4, and then 2 trebles together into the same exact chain 1. Okay, and just like that, we're going to repeat that all the way across. Don't forget to always chain 1 in between. Because that chain 1 is the one going to receive the clusters of the next row. So don't forget to always place it. So the moment you get done with the 2 clusters that are placed into the chain 1, you always make a chain of 1. So I hope I'm clear on that. Go all the way across and finish up row 3, and I'll show you what to do next. Alright guys, we've come to the end of row 3, and you can see what we have here. Now once you finish placing these 2 clusters into the last chain 1 of the previous row, you're going to make a chain of 1, just as we've been doing after creating each of the 2 clusters. So you're going to make a chain of 1, and on top of the chain 7, the turning chain 7, we're going to place a cluster. So you're going to do 2 trebles together on top of the chain 7, the topmost chain. Just like that, and then you're going to make a chain of 4 and slip stitch into the same exact chain. So that will mark the end of row 3. This is what you'll have at the end of the row, and this is what we have at the beginning of the row. Make sure you always balance what you have at the beginning and at the end of the row. As you can see here, you can see we have only 1 piece here and 1 piece at the end. So we're going on to row 4, and row 4 is going to resemble row 2. So you're going to make a chain of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then you're going to turn your work. So into the chain 1 space, I'm used to chain 1 space, but into the chain 1, you're going to place your clusters, the 2 clusters. So you're going to do 2 trebles together, and then make a chain of 4 and slip stitch into the same chain 1, and chain 4 and 2 trebles together into the same chain 1. So you can see how easy this pattern is. The moment you know how to begin and end the row, everything else is a walkover. So you can see how it has created another flower effect at this point. So the flowers are going to keep alternating and creating this beautiful floral-less pattern. So go all the way across and I'll show you how to wind up row 4 because it's quite different. So you're going to make a chain of 1, skip over the next 2 clusters, and into the chain 1 you're going to place your 2 clusters. So you start with 2 trebles together, just as we've been doing before, and then make a chain of 4, slip stitch into the same chain 1, chain 4, 2 trebles together into the same chain 1. Okay, so go all the way across doing this, and I'll meet you back towards the end of row 4. All right, so we've come to the end of row 4 and we've just placed our 2 clusters into the last chain 1 of the previous row. And after this cluster, you're going to yarn over 4 times and then go into the space where this cluster comes from, this one here. So into that space, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 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 and yarn over, pull through the last 2. And this is what the end of your row should look like. So we're basically going to repeat rows 3 and 4. Keep building and keep repeating rows 3 and 4 until you have the thickness of the bottom band of the top, the thickness that you want for your bottom band of your bralette. So let me keep working and I'll be back to show you how many rows that I considered. And yeah, this is what we have for now. All right, so I ended up doing a total of 8 rows and you should end with an even row. The one that starts with a chain of 7 and ends with this long stitch. So for the last row, this should be a second last row because the last row is supposed to balance exactly what we have for the foundation chain onto this side in order to make it flat as well. So I have a total of 8 rows. You can do 10 rows or 12 rows, whichever you prefer, whichever thickness that you prefer for the bottom band of your piece. And for me, that measures about 5 inches, and this is perfectly fine for my bralette. Now for the final row, after making your even number of rows, you're going to make a chain of 1 and turn your work. And into that very stitch, you're going to place 1 single crochet and then make a chain of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then into the next chain 1, you're going to go in there with a single crochet this time. This is the final row that wraps up the top to look exactly like the bottom of our piece. You see that chain of 7 that we kept skipping? We are bringing it back at the top in order to level up the edge, the top edge of our pattern. So continue, chain 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, skip over 2 clusters and into the chain 1, you're going to go in there with a single crochet. So you're going to continue doing this all the way across. Chain 7, single crochet into the next chain 1. So this is what you should end up with. All right, so we're coming to the end of our very last row, and I'm going to make a chain of 7. And on top of this chain here, the chain 7 on the edge, on top of it, into the very top chain, you're going to place a single crochet there. And just like that, we have our bottom band finished. And at this point, you can make a chain actually. This will be the top part where the bra cups are going to sit, like this. So once you finish this, you're going to make a chain here. You can make a chain of around 100. Alright guys, I have a total of 100 chains and I'm going to go back on it. I'm going to go into each and every chain with a slip stitch just to make my chain a little bit thicker and more functional. You're going to go in each and every chain with 1 slip stitch all the way back to the body of the bottom band. This is going to take a while, but trust me, this is worth it, especially if you don't want those very thin straps. So this is what your strap is going to end up looking like, as opposed to this, just a simple chain. All right, you see how our strap is looking like. We're still going all the way to the body of the bottom band until the very last chain, placing slip stitches into each and every chain. So once you get to the body here, this is what we have. You're going to turn your work. We're going to work along this stretch and also create a second strap here. So you're going to go into this single crochet with 1 single crochet, and then you're going to place a total of 7 single crochets into the chain 7 space. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So once you place your 7 single crochets there, you're going to go into the single crochet and place a single crochet and 7 single crochets into the next chain 7 space. 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then a single crochet into the next single crochet, and you're going to do that all the way along. Keep placing 7 single crochets in each chain 7 space, and then a single crochet in each single crochet. Try to distribute your single crochet stitches evenly along the chain 7 space, and this is what you're going to have. Do that all the way across, and I'll meet you back at this point. Alright guys, I've just placed 7 double crochets in the last chain 7 space, and on top of the last single crochet you're going to place 1 single crochet. This is what the top looks like. Remember, we have already created our strap on one of the sides. Now we're going to go ahead and create the same exact strap. So chain 100, make sure your chain is not very tight, because at the end of the day we have to get back into these chains and create slip stitches to make the chain a little bit thicker. So as you make a chain, keep it in mind that you have to come back and work into those chains, so don't make them very tight. So I have my 100 chains, and I'm going to do the same exact thing that I did for this strap. So go into the second chain from the hook and place a slip stitch, and continue to slip stitch in each and every chain until you get back to the body of the bottom band. All right, so we're back to the body of the bottom band, and I'm going to just make a slip stitch on the edge of the bottom band, and I'm going to make a chain of 1 and cut my yarn. Now we are done with the lower part of the bralette. This is basically what we have. Where the straps are, the top part is where the straps are, and along the single crochet row is where our backups are going to sit, like this. So we're going to first of all locate the exact middle of our piece. So I'm going to count the spaces from the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means the exact middle of my piece is at this point. So just locate the exact middle of your piece, or count the number of stitches that you have along the last row, and then mark the middle stitch, because that's exactly where we're going to place the backups, one on this side and the second one on this side. So let's go ahead and do some attaching. You're now going to reintroduce your bottom band. Remember, we have already marked the center point of the bottom band with a stitch marker. So what we are going to do right now is to make sure that the side where the picot stitch pops is exactly where we place this, and make sure that the right side of the single crochet row is also facing up. So we want the front side of our piece to be the one facing up, and now you're going to place your work like this. Now you're going to get your darning needle and we're going to thread it with the same exact color as what we've used for our project. Okay, so we're going to start attaching the bottom band onto the bra cups, starting with the middle stitch. So I'm going to first work on one side, leaving behind a tail for the second half of the attaching process. So I've left behind this tail and it will be working on this side. So I'm going to attach this picot stitch row of this bra cup 2 times into the same exact center stitch, and then I'm going to start attaching 2 stitches of the bottom band into each row of the bra cup. So what I mean is this one stitch, one stitch here and the next stitch into the same exact row of the bra cup. So let's do that again. Sorry about the disorganization. So the next stitch into this row and then the next one into the same row. So we are distributing 2 stitches of the bottom band into each row of the bra cup. That's all that I'm doing here. So you see how the bra cup is perfectly attached onto our bottom band. You're going to do that all the way across. All right, so we're almost coming to the end of our bra cup. There's still stitches on the bottom band, but the bra cup is almost finished, and I'm placing 2 stitches into the mesh row, and this is exactly what we have. Now I'm going to go into the next stitch of the bottom band and attach it into the picot stitch row 2 times, just as we did at the beginning of the attaching process. And then at this point you can just cut off the excess yarn and then use this tail to tie the pieces together. You can also use a darning needle if you wish. I'm going to just make a knot and cut. So this is how our bra cup has attached onto the bottom band, and we also have excess of the bottom band towards the side of our piece. So we're going to pick up the tail that we left behind when we were starting to attach the first bra cup, and we're going to do the same exact process, attaching this second bra cup onto the bottom band. Make sure where the picot stitch pops is on the right side or facing upwards. And then we're going to remove the stitch marker and we're going to attach this piece 2 times into the picot stitch row, just as we did for our first bra cup. And then we're going to start distributing 2 stitches of the bottom band into each row of the bra cup, just as we did before. So you just mirror exactly what you did on the opposite side onto the second half of your bralette. All right, so we're attaching our very last picot stitch row 2 times, and then you can go ahead and weave in this tail. This time round I don't have another tail here, so I'm going to just turn my work to the back and try to weave in this tail. Okay, so this is what we have right now, and if you counted your stitches perfectly well, you should be having the same exact length here as well as here. So you can see our top is literally balanced. Let me try to zoom out so that you can see how balanced the top is. You see this? You should be having the same exact length of the bottom band on both sides. And then you're going to go ahead and weave in all your tails. Use a darning needle to weave in all your tails. Alright guys, we are through with the main body of our piece. Now we're going to go onto the straps, and for the straps I'm going to be using a 3mm crochet hook, and we're going to create our beautiful straps for this top. These straps are going to literally just tie around the neck, so you're going to go into that single crochet in the middle of the V-stitch, and then you're going to make a chain of 3 and go into the same exact point with a double crochet, chain 3, double crochet in between the 2 stitches from the row below, chain 3, double crochet in between the 2 stitches from the row below. So the chain 3 always counts as a stitch. So you're going to see your strap creating several segments as you keep repeating this process. Keep doing this until you get the length of your desired length for the strap of your top. Alright guys, I did a total of 30 segments for my strap, and then you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, pull through, and this is what your strap should look like. Now I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same exact process for my second strap on the opposite side, and then I'll be back to show you what everything looks like. Can cut off the excess yarn. Alright guys, we are done with both straps, the upper straps, and this is exactly what we have. These are going to tie behind the neck, so we're going to go ahead and weave in these tails. Sorry for the birds, can't do anything about them. You're going to make sure that you weave in all your tails. Okay. Make sure you weave in your tails on the wrong side of your work, just to get a neat finish at the front or the right side of your work. Okay, so this is what we have guys. We are through with our top, and let's see the final look of our design. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out the written pattern on all my online shops, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and let's see the final look of our piece. Bye guys.